Hello, and welcome to the latest in gaming. My gaming news show coming at you live 3 days a week. It is currently Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, and today's topics are rumors are ramping up for Steam coming to Xbox, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford is being a dick, Miyamoto talks about Donkey Kong redesign, and Samsung could be helping with Nintendo Switch 2 production. All of that and more. If any of that sounds interesting, stick around. And if you're feeling generous, why not help a brother out and hit that subscribe button? It's definitely, this is definitely the first time I hit record. Definitely didn't completely mess up earlier and have to delete that stream. But anywho, let's just jump into it. So there's more evidence that Steam may be coming to the next Xbox. Let me say that again. There's more evidence that Steam may be coming to the next Xbox. No. Damn it. I forgot to take that over. That's embarrassing. Okay. Got a quick look at my doc. That's fine, I guess. Okay. Now, here we go. This is what I wanted to look at here. So this isn't from a normal, the sites that I normally look at here, they haven't covered this yet, or maybe they don't believe it. So this is very much a story to be taken with a grain of salt because it's from a leaker that has been very inconsistent. They've gotten things right, but they've gotten things wrong. So yeah, very much take this story with a grain of salt. This comes from Alicio Palumba at WCCF Tech, I guess. Microsoft rumored to be testing Steam integration within Microsoft Store, potentially for next-gen Xbox too. According to Insider, Xtasis. According to Insider Xtasis, Microsoft has internally begun testing Steam integration within the Microsoft Store environment, intending to bring that to the next generation Xbox console eventually. Here's the relevant quote from the latest YouTube podcast. Xbox plus Steam are heading into the next generation, but steps are already being taken as Microsoft has just added the Steam application to the support software for its devices, appearing under the name of Steam Developer Beta. This, of course, is currently only available to certain employees and people who collaborate with Microsoft to provide support or develop certain things. Interesting. This is more than just a detail because it logically reflects Microsoft's intention to facilitate coexistence and cooperation between its Xbox ecosystem and the gigantic PC platform that is Steam today. This integration will allow users to run Steam more smoothly and directly from Windows Entertainment and, in the future, Xbox environments. I've been telling you that the next generation of Xbox is going to be more like a PC than a console. Everything is going to be developed around PC environments. These logically need Steam integration, and you'll have that in your Microsoft Store when you turn on your next generation Xbox console. This will allow you to have Steam on your Xbox console on any Windows device without the need for complex configurations, which is a key setup for the experience of the future console. Xtasis is not the first insider to talk about this eventuality. Windows Central's Jez Corden predicted the same thing a while ago, although in this case, Xtasis claims to have sources indicating that testing for the Steam integration has already begun. As a reminder, the latest rumors suggest that the next generation console strategy includes a successor to the Xbox Series X paired with a handheld device. Both should release in 2027, with Microsoft attempting to launch ahead of Sony's PlayStation 6 after skipping the mid-generation console refresh that Sony released with the PS5 Pro. So, some very interesting stuff here. I have a few things to say about this. So, This has been kind of a rumor going around for a while, and honestly, this is what not you can't find evidence of me saying this, long ago because I haven't been doing this series for very long. But this is what I've been, I guess, not predicting, but like hoping for the next Xbox for a long time is to just make it more of a PC. Because I have really, as someone that enjoys Xbox games and wants to play more of them, I have like almost no reason to buy an Xbox. Like it's such a waste of money to me. I would rather get a PC or especially now, like I would rather get like a Steam Deck or something like that. So, but if this was to be introduced in the future, that would like 100%, like I would almost definitely get this. And I feel like there's a lot of other people like this too. Like Xbox knows like something like this has so much potential. Bringing Steam to the next Xbox, because that like it just significantly elevates your game library like to an insane degree. And then also you get all the benefits of having a PC, and probably a decently strong PC, because if it's going to be an Xbox, it's going to be able to run, Xbox games to the best of their ability. So even if it's a little more expensive than like the current gen, it's probably going to be still a lot less expensive than, a PC that won't even be able to run the same thing as what, like it won't, yeah. So I don't know. This is quite exciting, I think. And it makes perfect sense because it's like Xbox already has a ton of games on it, but big thing that they're missing is PlayStation. But if they were to integrate Steam, they'd be able to get PlayStation games on an Xbox without going through PlayStation. Isn't that like it's such a smart maneuver, and PlayStation games are so popular. So it's really like a win. It would be a huge win for anybody playing Xbox, and they would definitely sell a lot more systems. However, consoles don't really make, or console manufacturers like Xbox and PlayStation, they don't make most of their money on selling consoles. They make it off the games. With every game sold on a PlayStation, there's like something like a 30% cut goes directly to PlayStation. And that's where they make most of their money. And it's the same with Microsoft or Xbox. They get a 30% cut of every game sold on like the Microsoft store and like the Xbox store. However, if they were to bring Steam over to Xbox, that would no longer be the case, because that's Steam taking that cut. So that would be a huge loss, and also like it would de-incentivize developers to publish games on the Xbox store and Microsoft store, because that like they can just put it on Steam, and then everybody that owns an Xbox would be able to play it on Steam. So there'd definitely be a big money hit there. But I don't know, like it would definitely at the same time significantly elevate the amount of people using Game Pass, which is what their modus apparatus. That's what they've been trying to mainly sell for the past, 10 years or whatever. And there would be way more people in the Xbox ecosystem to enjoy and buy their games. So there's that. They would finally be a little bit more competitive with PlayStation. And one thing I've seen about this is it's kind of protecting them in the future from like in court. Because there's been this problem like between Epic and Apple with their storefronts, and how Apple's been very greedy. And that's kind of how systems have worked, at least like for video games. It's different because each console has their own ecosystem that you can't really buy things off of. But PC is different. You can buy stuff with Steam, but you can also get the Epic Game Store and like GOG, and like there's lots of different options on PC. But if Xbox was to open those floodgates, they could kind of slowly force other console manufacturers to be the same as them if they were to fight it in court. So I don't know, it's very hard to say. There's a lot of different like angles you could take with this. They'd be losing money in some ways but gaining money in other ways, so I don't know how that would even out. Although from everything we've seen, I think this probably will happen eventually, probably not until the next generation of consoles, which is really only 2 years away for Xbox. So I guess we'll see. Okay. Moving on. The next thing I want to talk about. And the asshole of the day award goes to Randy Pitchford of Gearbox Entertainment. Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox Entertainment. So if you don't know, as you can see from this here, this guy, he made a comment that was just so dumb. So if you don't know, Borderlands 4, actually I didn't know this until I read this article. Borderlands 4 is getting that price, that good old $80 price hike, and that's in America. In Canada, it'd be like 110 or something like that. But it's getting a decent sized price hike, and there was criticism from it, and somebody, asked him, like, what do you have to say to fans that, don't want to fork out $80 for your game? And he's like, well, real fans will find a way to pay for it, which is just like the most tone deaf thing you could say in this like current economy and state of the world. Like, real fans will starve themselves for a week to not buy groceries so that they can play Borderlands 4. Real fans will skip out on their rent and have to be homeless for, months in order to play Borderlands 4. Like, if you're a real fan, you will literally give up your firstborn child to play Borderlands 4. Like, that's what this fucking comment sounds like. So let's read it here. Chris Scullion at VGC, Randy Pitchford moves to justify comments that real fans would find a way to buy Borderlands 4 at $80 American USD. I wish it said that in these. The Gearbox Entertainment CEO has drawn criticism for his recent suggestion. Gearbox Entertainment CEO Randy Pitchford has attempted to explain recent comments that true fans would find a way to buy Borderlands 4 if it ends up costing $80. Earlier this month, Pitchford was asked by a follower on X not to make the game $80, to which he replied, "That was not my call," which is, that nothing wrong with that. If it's not his decision, it's not his decision. He then added, see, maybe you should have put your phone down after saying "not my call," Randy. He then added, "If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen." Go fuck yourself, Randy Pitchford. You absolute piece of shit. In 1991, groceries didn't cost, fucking like thousands of dollars for a week of groceries. I know it's not that much, but like, what a absolute tone deaf thing to just completely say fuck you to all of your fans, and at the same time like not understand how money works for a fucking CEO. Like, this, like, I didn't really have much of an opinion on Randy Pitchford before this. Like, I'm not a big Borderlands guy, but this just made me like fucking hate the guy so much. Like, just from that. Pitchford's comments went relatively unnoticed at the time. Really? So this was earlier this month? But have become more widespread this week, with some players criticizing the suggestion that players who can't afford the game aren't true fans. So only if you're rich, you're a true fan. In a new post on X, Pitchford has linked to a video from a recent Borderlands 4 Q&A saying, "If you want the truth, here it is." In the Q&A, Pitchford was asked how much Borderlands 4 will cost and claimed, "I don't know, and that is the truth." Yeah, that's fine, man. He then explained that while it's important to make sure games are priced properly, the increased cost of games in development and manufacturing are creating an issue where price increases have to be considered. And it's an interesting time, right? He said, "On one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where people want to, or the where people want to, or the people that make these choices want to sell as many units as possible, and they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. So there's some folks that don't want to see prices go up. Most folks don't want to see prices go up, even if the ones deciding what the prices are. Even the ones deciding what the prices are. I can't imagine that. There's other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing, and that there's tariffs, and CEOs gotta, CEOs, they have to eat too. Like Randy Pitchford, he's not that rich. He's only the CEO of a company that works for, Take-Two Interactive. And what do they own? Like nothing that big, just like Rockstar Games. Just a second. Looking something up here. Damn it. I was looking up his net worth, and it is not available online. Estimate. Well, he's clearly a millionaire. That's what I will say. I imagine the guy's a millionaire. If I'm wrong, I apologize, Randy Pitchford. There's other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing, and there's tariffs for the retail packaging, and it's getting gnarly out there, you guys. Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget than Borderlands 3, more than twice. So the truth is, I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know what we will be opening pre-orders soon, and that will be when the price is set. This whole thing, the more that I'm thinking about Randy Pitchford here, kind of seems like good old Mr. Elon Musk. He's like this kind of sarcastic internet guy that people like, and he says the truth, and that's why people like him. And then the more you learn about it, the more you just see that he's just a fucking corporate piece of shit that loves his money. And again, this isn't a criticism of the game raising in price, because I don't think that's his decision. This is a criticism of his fucking tone deafness to not understand the economy and understand that, sometimes that extra $10, $20 to $80 games is just, it's actually going to be too much for some people. They will not be able to find a way, because Starflight for the Sega Genesis was $80 in 1991. Rent for some people was $100, or in the hundreds. You could buy a home for less than $100,000. Now you can't really buy a home for less than $1 million. And this is where I'm coming from. This is Canada, but I don't think it's much better in the States. It's just everything else is fucking way more expensive. So taking gaming, which at one point, well, it's always been a very expensive hobby, making it even more expensive. Is that picking up on the mic? I don't think it is. Sorry, there's a kid's toy playing over there. Yeah, but making it $80 even more expensive when everything else in the world is equally expensive. It's just so tone deaf to think that if you're a real fan, you'll be able to make it work no matter what. That just really pisses me off. There's a video for it here. I don't have to play it because that's not really talking about what I'm talking about. Pitchford went on to say that Gearbox's aim is to make sure the game feels like value for money, regardless of the price, meaning that if it does end up costing $80, it's important for the player to feel it was money well spent. I think that Borderlands 4, here's the philosophy we have. Whatever the price is, we're entertainers, he said. Yes, we want to get more resources so we can make bigger and better games. There's a reason why Borderlands 4 is so awesome. It's because you guys showed up and supported Borderlands 3, and we had the budget, so we could more than double the budget. Feel confident in that, and that's awesome. I mean, that's cool. No problem with this. When the revenue comes in, we could spend it to make bigger games and better games. As artists, we want everybody to have it. We want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to enjoy what we're creating. So it's a weird thing, but the fundamental philosophy is what we want people to buy is we want people to buy it so we have the resources to make more. But we want everyone to buy and play, everyone who buys and plays a Gearbox game to feel certain that they got the better end of the bargain. Whatever the price is, that they got the best value, and then that's the philosophy that we live by. And so we're going to have a price set soon, and it might be the new price that like Nintendo and Microsoft have led with. It might be that we stay back. It's going to be the people and the publishing house that decide that. See, I respect this part of the conversation and that he's being open and honest with the price, the new price adjustments. But just that one comment to me is so telling, and you can tell it really pissed me off and rubbed me the wrong way. He then joked, and if it is cheaper, then maybe we'll sell you that mini map that you guys want, but we'll develop later. How bad do you want that? $10? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Last month, Gearbox announced that it shifted Borderlands 4 release date forward from its original September 23rd to a September 12th release date. It later confirmed that Borderlands 4 will be releasing on Nintendo Switch 2 later this year, on top of the previously announced Xbox, PS5, Xbox, and PC versions. Yeah, so this... I guess we can watch this video.
Randy, I got a tough one for you here.
Oh, you got a spicy one for me?
I don't know the answer. I don't know.
Why is it always me that has to do the spicy ones? All right.
What will the game's price be? That's an interesting one. I don't know this.
Really now? I'll tell you the truth. I don't know. And that is the truth. I'll hit it. I'll hit it straight on. And it's an interesting time, right? We've got the on one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where the people that make those choices want to sell as many units as possible, and they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. So there's some folks that don't want to see prices go up, even if game budgets are increasing more than twice. I don't know what the price is going to be. I do know that we will be opening pre-orders soon, TM, and that I think that Borderlands 4, here's the philosophy we have. Whatever the price is, we're entertainers. Yes, we want to get more resources so we can make bigger and better games. There's a reason why Borderlands 4 is so awesome. It's because you guys showed up, and that's awesome. When the we want to make it.
Does this include the comments?
Yeah, we want people to, whatever the price is, that they got the best value, and that's I've led with. It might be that, maybe we'll sell you that mini map that you guys want, or am I? I think it's going to be fine, whatever it ends up being.
Okay.
I think it's going to be
Okay, so this doesn't include that quote, but man, that just really rubbed me the wrong way. I think that's all I really had to say on that, though. So let's move on to Donkey Kong. Woohoo! Donkey Kong. So we finally learned the reason behind Donkey Kong's redesign, straight from Miyamoto himself. So. Looking at news. Shigeru Miyamoto finally explains why Nintendo redesigned Donkey Kong. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. The Mario creator says Nintendo decided to redesign DK to make the character more expressive. That's kind of what I figured too. And he did have the same design for a very long time. I know some people are mad about it. Like, I don't know which one I actually like more, to be honest. Does it show the old one? No. There's something classic about that good rare design, but seeing this one now, it does kind of fit a lot better in with Nintendo's current design ethos. And they've been redesigning a lot of their characters the last couple of years, so I don't know, it's fine. It's just kind of that was the last evidence of Rare having an effect on Donkey Kong that's gone. It is what it is. The first hint that Nintendo was looking to retool Donkey Kong came with the Super Mario Bros. Movie back in 2023. A more striking redesign was then spotted in the debut footage of Mario Kart World earlier this year, and since then, Nintendo has replaced a plethora of marketing items with the new DK look. Nintendo then officially announced the Switch 2 title Donkey Kong Bonanza in April, along with the official reveal of Donkey Kong's new design, which appears to be a cross between the version seen in Super Mario Bros. Movie and that seen in pre-Donkey Kong Country artwork. Now, speaking to IGN, Miyamoto has discussed the redesigned Donkey Kong for the first time. When it comes to the character creation and working with characters, I still take an active role in that, he explained, and looking back to the first generation Donkey Kong Country, we worked with Rare to create Donkey Kong Country. Okay. When we were talking about trying to create new versions involving Donkey Kong, we created the game Jungle Beat. We worked together with the team that made 3D Mario. With the technology that was available at the time, we were able to make Donkey Kong more expressive, he added. And going back to the design that Rare came up with, we reevaluated what we can do with the design to make it more expressive, and that when it comes to the movie, we decided to move forward with this new generation Donkey Kong design. Kevin Bayliss, the former Rare artist who was responsible for redesigned Donkey Kong in the 90s, gave his approval. When the new design was revealed in April, I don't understand why there's any debate to be had, Bayliss wrote. It's still DK, only better looking. People need to embrace change more. All good things get better with age. I would say that though. I've been doing this for almost 40 years now. Even everyone gave a big, warm welcome for the new DK. It's kind of cool to get like an official like statement from Nintendo, because it's like it just kind of like happened out of nowhere. I mean, like, no, I guess not out of nowhere. Like there was the movie, and now, you know, it's been hinted at for a while, and now it seems to be like fully integrated basically. The one thing though is I noticed they've taken away the classic design when it came to Nintendo's Nintendo Switch icons, which I don't know. I feel like that's a little annoying. You could have kept both, but I do understand why they did it. So yeah, no, I get the fact of making him more expressive. Donkey Kong was always a very expressive character. I'm thinking back to the Smash Bros. Ultimate, like his expressions in that game are so like goofy, and they work so well with the character. And he's definitely this is definitely more Nintendo. Like there was something about that Rare look that was more like cool, that was more like edgy. You know what I mean? Like not actually, but like a little bit. And this seems to be full on like happy-go-lucky Nintendo, which it's a little sad in that manner, but I don't know. It's a fucking monkey. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say here? Like, it doesn't matter that much. His eyes are a little bit different, and he is considerably more expressive now. I hope he hasn't lost that, cool Donkey Kong edge from the Donkey Kong 64 theme song. There's a little bit more too on DK. Got some artwork of him. So, free Diddy. Diddy has been freed. We finally got a look at him. So in the movie, you can see that he had this little thing right here. And it looks like he's probably not going to have like the Nintendo logo on his hat anymore, which kind of sucks. I loved that Nintendo logo. Although I did always kind of find it out of place. Like, why are they repping themselves on this character? So yeah, that was like some new artwork, and he's like very similar to how he used to be, but like a little bit different. Yeah, he's got that button on his head, and similar to Donkey Kong, he's just more expressive. I guess he's less like his face is slightly shaped differently. That fur though, look at that fur. Can I zoom in on that? No, whatever. But I don't know. I think it's fun. I'm not gonna read this whole article, but cool. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is Nintendo and Samsung. It's looking like Samsung is going to be helping with Nintendo Switch 2 chip production. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Nintendo taps Samsung to make Switch 2 chips in a move that could ramp up production. The deal could lead to 20 million consoles being sold by March 2026, a report says. According to Bloomberg, Nintendo has turned to Samsung to make the NVIDIA-designed custom processor for the Switch 2 console in an attempt to speed up production. The publication's sources say the deal with Samsung means production should be fast enough to make and sell 20 million Switch 2 units by the end of March 2026, with the potential to ramp up even more if needed, depending on assembler capacity. Samsung already makes other components for Nintendo, such as memory chips and displays, but has reportedly been struggling to compete with Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co. to make chips not just for Nintendo, but for many of the world's other electronic devices. It's said that TSMC has been increasingly building its lead on Samsung by partnering with companies like Apple and Nvidia to make chips for them, but that Nintendo's partnership will help Samsung to regain some ground and rebuild its reputation with such a high-profile contract. Samsung is producing the chips using its 8 nanometer node rather than its 5 nanometer node. The general rule of thumb is that the smaller the number of nanometers, the more advanced and efficient the technology, but Nintendo reportedly opted for the 8 nanometer technology to ensure cheaper and more reliable production. That sounds like Nintendo. Last week, Korean publication Chosun reported that Nintendo has also considered partnering with TSMC with its 8 and 7 nanometer processes, but ultimately opted to go with Samsung. Oh, there's more. Another Bloomberg source claimed that Samsung has pushed for OLED panels to be used should Switch 2 ever get an upgrade in the future. WCCF Tech also cited a source familiar with Samsung who said there's a possibility that Samsung could switch from 8 to 5 for this theoretical future revised hardware, potentially leading to more efficient battery life. Last week, Nintendo says it expects to sell 15 million Nintendo Switch units during its launch window. Just to put that in perspective here, the Wii U has not sold that many units, and it came out, 2011? 2012, 2013? Maybe 2013? Came out over a decade ago. I mean, it wasn't selling. They don't make them anymore, but it expects to sell more Switch 2 consoles in its launch window than it has for the entire life of the Wii U. So, kind of crazy. Well, this would be a very strong performance, putting Switch 2 roughly in line with the original console, which was one of the fastest selling consoles ever. It's still much lower than projections made by numerous industry analysts, especially following strong pre-orders for the system. Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa later explained that the company's lower than expected Switch 2 sales projections were an acknowledgement that this console's relatively high price point could make it more challenging to sell compared to the original Switch. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, if it was a little bit cheaper and, tariffs weren't a thing and games weren't more expensive, I could see that, easy 20, 30 mil in the first year. But because of the prices, it seems like maybe not. But I guess, that's fine with them because they're probably making more money because of the price hikes. I don't know a lot about this. Like, I don't know this nanometer shit that they're talking about. So, I can only bring so much knowledge to this specific story. But at least when it comes to production, it seems like this will help them, at least make as many as they need to make, or close to as many as they need to make to hit demand. Yeah, it's not really it's more of just like a cool fact rather than much of a story. I think it's gonna fucking fly off the shelves for the first year or two. They've got so many big games coming out. So it's just a matter of, can people afford it? And, what are tariffs going to look like a year from now? Will they still exist or not? Who's to say? I don't even think the big man himself could tell you. Last story of the day. something I don't care very much about because it's been fucking told to death, but Fortnite has returned to the App Store. Who cares? We back, fam. Fortnite is back on the US App Store after a 5-year court battle. Fortnite returned to the US iPhones after a new court order. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Announcing the news, Epic Games said Fortnite is back on the App Store in the US on iPhones and iPads, and the Epic Games Store and Alt Store in the EU. It'll show up in search soon. Fortnite's return to the latest twist. Fortnite's return is the latest twist in the Epic v Apple saga, stretching back to 2020 when Apple removed Fortnite from the App Store after Epic bypassed its platform's fees, leading to the filing of the lawsuit. The latest development came after a U.S. judge ordered Apple to stop forcing the 27 commission on payments earlier this month, stating it had violated a 2021 injunction when it was ordered to allow external payment methods. Epic responded by announcing it was preparing to bring Fortnite back to the iOS App Store this month, but this return was later blocked by Apple after Epic's first attempt at submitting Fortnite to the store, something that also saw it made temporarily unavailable in Europe. On Tuesday, U.S. Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers ordered Apple to allow Fortnite's return to the U.S. App Store or explain itself in court, which seemingly has led to the game's long-awaited return. Apple is so fucking bitter with this stuff. They will fight this to the very end. The version of Fortnite launched on the U.S. App Store today features external payment options and significant incentives for players to buy directly from Epic instead of through Apple's own payment system. Former Fortnite creative director Donald Mustard commented on the news, "This is absolutely incredible. Everyone, go get Fortnite on your phones and iPads now. We worked so hard in those early days of Fortnite to really dial in and refine a great control scheme for mobile devices." Epic Games CEO and founder Tim Sweeney wrote, "We back, fam." And honestly, way to go, guys. Way to go. This billion-dollar company is making this trillion-dollar company is making a little bit less money so that this billion-dollar company can make a little bit more money. Like, isn't this just epic, as Epic would say? We back, fam. Let's go, guys. Yeah, but no, who cares? People that play, I feel like most people aren't playing on their phones. As you know, at least I didn't hear much in those 5 years that it was gone that people were that annoyed about it, because most people have at least something else to play it on, whether it's a laptop or a Switch, or Fortnite's on everything. The fact that it's back on phones, which is the most universal device, so there'll definitely be an increase in players, but I don't know. Does anybody really care about this news? Not me. That's for damn sure. Okay, that's all I really had to say about that. Damn, almost 40 minutes long today. That's pretty good. That is pretty good indeed. For anybody watching this later, I appreciate it. Sorry. I will be back. I originally said I wasn't going to stream today, but then my plans changed, so I did. I'll be back again on Friday, streaming the latest news of the next 2 days. Sorry. And I'll hopefully be posting a short later today and probably tomorrow. And I've been pretty lacking with those the last couple of days, or last week or so. But I want to kind of get back into it some more. I love doing my editing, and I'm working on a big video to hopefully come out around the launch of the Switch 2. I'm guessing it probably won't come out on the day of, but it'll be around the same time. So get excited for that. Get hyped. I think it'll. In my head right now, it's still mostly just in my head. I've got a lot of the script written out. I gotta refine it a lot more, but it's looking like a pretty good one, in my opinion. I'm kind of excited for it. I'm gonna get the green screen out again, do some green screen work, and it's gonna be kind of cool. I think that's all I pretty much had to say about that. Appreciate anybody that watches this later. If you feel like it, why not hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and catch my other content. I've got some great video essays on here. Drunk Mario Kart video, Elden Ring video. That one I'm pretty proud of. It turned out really well. And my favorite video that I have is my Wii Sports Resort Golf Challenge. I think it's just called like I attempted the hardest challenge in a Nintendo game. And spoilers for that. I did succeed in that challenge. But yeah, no, it's a good video. I always say this at the end of all of these streams. I never know how to end these. But let's just end it there. Appreciate anybody that watches, and